Hey everybody, this is Kip from America Bumper to Bumper, and welcome to episode 16 of Car Chat with Kip. Today we're going to talk a bunch of car news. We're going to answer any questions you have on there, give you some things that you could potentially, quote unquote, vote on. And I'm going to hurt my dog if he doesn't keep, quiet. He thinks that he needs to be the policer of all of our cats, and with 5 of them, he gets, wound up. Okay, so we're going to start off with where we are as far as new videos and the quote unquote, polls or whatever you want to call it. We have one final video from the Autumn Leaves car show that will be posted tomorrow or Sunday, depending on how ambitious. Yeah, see, can't even think. I get, so I'm pushing for tomorrow. That leads to what am I going to be doing over the winter? I don't know. I really don't know. No, I'm going to do some videos, like top 5, what cars I like. So if you guys have ideas of what top 5, categories, station wagons, classics, exotics, whatever it might be. If you got ideas for an episode, throw it down in the comments. Let me know so I can make that video. I am also really trying to find a used or new car dealership in my area to do reviews of their cars. I'm hoping to work with one, but I haven't been able to talk to the owner like I want to, so that's the other thing. Might do some winter driving fun once we start getting winter. Yeah, but we're definitely going to be cutting back on the number of videos I put out per week. So probably we're only going to be doing videos Monday, Wednesday, and then the live stream on Friday. So 2 videos on whatever I decide to do, and then this live stream. All right, so let's get into a little bit of news. First, we're going to talk about my new favorite off-road vehicle, which is the Jeep Gladiator, which is going to be coming out, according to this report from Roadshow. They're saying second quarter of 2019, so we might be seeing them as quick as April, which would be super cool. By the way, if anyone at Jeep is listening, which I'm sure nobody is, but if you are from Jeep, if you want to give me one of those, I will make so much content and positive stuff for you, it won't be funny. Otherwise, I do have to save up my money and buy one like everyone else. Bummer. Anyways, going on this report where I got the info that it's going to be out second quarter of next year, is all about different options that you will be able to accessories from Mopar that you will be able to get, and most of them should be available when the car is out. Some of the ones that this particular writer had said that they would put on their Gladiator as soon as they got one would be 2-inch lift kit. Of course, they're talking about the Wrangler Rubicon in this article. So it says, although the car has 11 inches of ground clearance, like being too rich, you can never have too much. I don't care whether it's a Rubicon or whether it's the base. 2-inch lift kit would be a pretty cool thing. They're also talking about rock rails. They have this really great picture of tube doors that you'll be able to buy. There you go. I hope I got that for you good. Which would be, whoops, super cool as well. What kind of options would I have? Well, that's the great thing about Jeep. There is going to be not only Mopar parts support. Jeep has so much aftermarket support. It's not funny. I mean, it is hilarious. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of stuff. So it'll be very hard to find two of these Gladiators that will be looking the same. Let's see. Yeah, so lockable drawers for in the bed. Of course, the tube doors, catback exhaust, cold air intakes, all sorts of good stuff. Even go with some fancy stuff like leather seats, decals, mesh top, all sorts of stuff. But anyways, in all, Mopar will have about 200 aftermarket parts for the 2020 Jeep Gladiator, most of them being available when the vehicle arrives in dealerships. I think that's awesome. And one of those, you're not potentially going to be able to get it for the Gladiator yet, but did you know that you can buy Gorilla Glass windshields for your Jeep Wrangler from Mopar? That is correct, you can. Fiat has been working with Corning company, I can't remember exact, Corning Inc., to offer the Gorilla Glass replacement windshields for your Jeep Wrangler. Now, Corning has been working with exotic car manufacturers for a while. The 2016 Ford GT comes with Gorilla Glass. The 911 GT3 RS comes with Gorilla Glass. McLaren 720S is Gorilla Glass. And now you can get for your Wrangler JK, so it's an 07 to 2018 Jeep Wranglers, you can buy from Mopar Gorilla Glass. It's kind of cool. So it's more lightweight. It's resists scratching and breaking. It comes with a 2-year limited warranty, and you get some Gorilla Glass graphics. Let's see. The hardened glass, however, comes with a pretty steep price. $550 MSRP before discounts, to be precise. That's double the cost of $225 that Mopar windshield that makes just a regular Mopar windshield for your Jeep. So it's going to be pricey, but it could be well worth it. And I can only imagine that they're going to be pushing that out on the newer Jeeps as well. Another report, this is from the Business Insider. Fiat Chrysler is going to be reopening a factory in Detroit that will build more SUVs. Fiat Chrysler will upgrade a factory in the Detroit area to build SUVs. This factory has been out of action since 2012. And because of the decline in car sales, sedans and whatnot, they need more capacity for SUVs, so they're doing this. The plant, which formerly made engines, will come out of mothballs to service the SUV market. Auburn Hills-based automaker plans to revive the Mack Avenue Engine 2, which has been idled since 2012, as an assembly plant building a new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee for 2021. Move could add at least 100 up to 400 jobs to the city. Good job, Fiat Chrysler. So in a city like Detroit, where jobs are definitely hard to come by, it might help out a lot to revitalize the city. All right, now we're going to get into something that I really love, and we're going to pull you off of the computer screen, flip you around. and we're going to talk about 11 cool cars that are eligible for import in the U.S. in 2019. Beautiful STI wagon here in the picture. But the first one they're going to talk about is the Audi RS Avant. So 25 years ago, we make it 94. The Audi RS Avant, it's been something that lots of people here in the States have wanted. This is the first RS model, and it was a wagon engineered and built by Porsche, if you're, anyways, and equipped with a 311 horsepower turbo 5-cylinder and all-wheel drive. It was one of the quickest family cars of its day, and it still looks super cool. I've actually seen one of these. I don't know how exactly they got it into the States early, but I saw one at Wolfsgart car show, and I will try to remember to post a link in somewhere like there, something like that, so you guys can check out a little bit closer. Next car. This is kind of an odd one for me. I've never heard of it. Kind of looks funky, but hey. Di Tommaso Gura. Gosh, I butchered that one. Di Tommaso is best known for the Pantera. This car is its successor. It was built based on the Maserati Baccaretta and featured a 4-liter BMW V8 in its early iteration, and later a Ford 4.6. Only 50 were built over 10 years, so they're pretty rare. You probably won't ever find one, but if you want one, this is the last Di Tommaso car that you could ever buy. And here's another kind of an oddball one, but by a known maker. It's the Maserati Quattroporte 4. You didn't realize that they built any before this, because we started getting the 5th gen in 2004, but they made the 4th Quattroporte 4 in the mid-90s, and you can buy one of these, get these imported. It's kind of in my opinion, funky looking for a Maserati, but then again, Maserati was not known for their beautiful designs back in the 90s. But you can get this car with either a twin turbo 6 or a V8, and you could get it with a 6-speed stick. So, pretty cool. Now, this one is really cool, and kind of brings up another thought, which I'll get into in a minute. This is a Mercedes-Benz E60 AMG. So AMG's most famous version of the W124 chassis E-Class was the Epic Hammer, but there was another. This was based on the Porsche-engineered 550E. The E60 AMG was built in extremely limited numbers and features a 6-liter V8 cranking out 381 horsepower. Which brings me back to what I just said there about the Porsche engineered. So I think it's kind of cool that Porsche has lent out their services to all sorts of companies. Audi I can kind of see because it's part of the Volkswagen Audi the Volkswagen Audi group or Auto Group there. But to also be able to have a Mercedes-Benz that's engineered by Porsche, and that thing, I gotta say, I don't know how well it comes out through the phone here, but it looks fantastic. Kind of funky little Japanese thing. We got the Mitsubishi Delica Space Gear. Previous generations of the Mitsubishi Delica have proven to be surprisingly popular Japanese import. And in 2019, you'll be able to get the 4th gen model here. It's a great vehicle for exploring the country, especially the 4-wheel drive Space Gear, which this one is. Kind of oddball, old little vans, but I think it's kind of cool. Another Japanese car that you can import, the Mitsubishi FTO. Now, anybody that's played Gran Turismo, you know the FTO, but probably don't know it from anywhere other than that. This was pitched as an affordable companion to the GTO, which we got as the 3000 GT. The FTO has reasonable sportiness and good. It's pretty good to look at. It's kind of the JDM Eclipse. Again, a little funky look to it, but not bad overall. Another Mitsubishi. We now are on to the Lancer Evolution 2. This is the Mitsubishi you really want. The Lancer Evolution 2 received some suspension and power upgrades over its predecessor and sat on a slightly longer wheelbase. These are surprisingly cheap in Japan, so get them imported here. Yep, I like the way it looks. I like the thoughts behind it. I would take one if I had the opportunity. Now we're headed back to Europe for the Peugeot 106 Rally. Now, the 106 Rally might not look like much, but it's a real homologation special designed to get the 106 eligible for sub 1300C Rally. 1.3 liter 4-cylinder punches out an honest 100 horsepower, which may not sound like much, but when the car is only has to move 1,800 pounds, not bad at all. Chassis upgrades from the more expensive 106 XSI make it a great handler too. I think that's pretty cool. I would take one of those hot hatches. Back to Japan for the first generation Subaru Impreza WRX STI. Just 1 year after the Evo made its debut, Subaru countered with the legendary STI. A 2-liter flat turbo 4, got forged pistons and better intercooling than the standard WRX to produce 250, and of course, all-wheel drive is standard. Find one in blue with gold wheels, and you can live out your Colin McRae fantasies. Colin McRae, for anybody who doesn't know, is World Rally driver, and that was kind of what he drove, was the blue and gold. These also, as you saw from the first picture, come in wagons, so you have a lot of variety and options of what kind of car to get. And going with another rally car, the Toyota Celica GT4. It's not as well known as the Lancer Evolution or the STI, but it is a very potent all-wheel drive, 2-liter turbocharged, 250 horsepower, pretty dang cool. And it also got them banned from World Rally Championship in '96 because it had a cheating turbo design. I don't know much about that, but that has to lead something to its. It is one of the funkier looking Celicas out there, but hey, again, I'd take one. And final car is the Toyota Chaser. Lexus rendered the Toyota Cressida obsolete in the US, but it had a serious spiritual successor in Japan. This one is, called the Chaser. This generation was available with 2 straight-six engines, the naturally aspired 3-liter 2JZ from the Supra, or a twin-turbo 2.5-liter version of the old 1JZ. Both are great, making this a smart buy. Excuse me. So what do you guys think? If you had the option to buy one of these cars and import them, what would you do? Alright. Now we're going to do true and false. Found this on MSN Autos. This is originally from Road and Track. You'll never guess which of these crazy driving laws around the world are real. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read about a law. I'm going to take a second. You guys put down in the comments, 1 if it's true, and that or false, and then we'll go through all the ones here. So, number 1, if you're driving in Thailand, you better be wearing a shirt, or you get a 500 Thai dollar fine. True or false? Number 2, and I'll give you all the answers at the end of this. Number 2, in Little Rock, Arkansas, a 20s era law.
Launched a new map. We can only imagine how exciting that
God.
would be, you know? I'm freaking so pumped to play this.
I don't know where I'm.
Right here.
Oh. Somehow I got something else going on in one of the other ones. So, let's get back to it. Number 2. 1920s era Little Rock, Arkansas law says that after 9 p.m. you can't honk your horn at any place where cold drinks or sandwiches are served. 5. All right, on to number 3. In 1967, Great Britain outlawed bumper stickers on cars because they might disrupt drivers' views and or quote-unquote foster ill will towards fellow motorists and disruption of harmony, explained an official from the Ministry of Transport who was surprisingly ahead of his times. All right. Next. Yeah, right. Okay, so anyways, we'll go through these. Hey, Pete. Hey, Laney. Hey, Jason. Thanks for all stopping in. I will go back and actually give you the answer to these as we go because it's a little bit easier. Okay, so the first one, the Thailand thing, that is true. The 20s era Little Rock law, that is also true. The British, that is false. Number 4, in Japan, if you are driving around on a rainy day and you splash water onto a pedestrian, that little nuisance will cause you to get a fine. True or false? Yep. True. It is true. You would get a fine for splashing people. I try not to do that. I think I've done that once. All right. This is, yep. In 1970s, tomb robbing became a massive problem in Egypt, facilitated by the boom of cheap transportation. Even to this day, if you're pulled over in the country, an officer can search your car for ancient artifacts, leading to heavy fines or arrest, regardless if they're cursed or not. All right, we got false. False. Okay. You guys are both right. Oh, no, sorry, Pete. That's a false. They cannot stop you. All right, number 7. They take the word driver literally in South Africa. Anyone who's hurting animals is considered to be... Did I... Huh. They messed that up on this thing. The thing that I'm looking at, they went from directly to number 7. Sorry. Good catch, Laney. All right, so 6, 7, whatever it is. Anyone who's hurting animals is considered to be driving a vehicle. Oh, and they also get the right of way. After all, who would want to tussle with a pack of water buffaloes? Okay, we got a true. We got a true. wait for a second for you, for Pete, if you want to chime in. This one is also true. Geez, they're skipping all over the place. Now they go to 9. So somebody wasn't paying attention to their numbering in here. I won't do numbers, but I'll just give you what it is. All right. That was actually true. All right. When SUVs took off in popularity in the early 90s, officials in Naples feared that their size would damage the narrow alleyways and historic buildings. So, in 1996, the city government instituted an ordinance banning vehicles wider than 178 centimeters of width, or about the width of a Ford Explorer. Yep. So is that true or false? That in Naples, Italy, you cannot have a vehicle wider than a Ford Explorer. Yeah. False. And you guys are correct. It is false. Although I can see, that one being true because the roads and a lot of, I've never been to Naples either, but I can only imagine. I know I have been to France and Switzerland, and I do know there are lots of streets in France that are very narrow. All right, this one is for you, Jason. In the pastoral state of Maine, I know you don't live in Maine, but I know you're pretty close. It's illegal to shoot a firearm inside a car. Sorry, hunters who don't feel like getting out of your car's heated seats to nail a buck with a crossbow. Yes, they're included. You're allowed to shoot from an ATV or snowmobile, however. Make sure that the engine is off first. I got 2 trues, and you guys are all right. That is the same is true for Vermont. I don't know about the ATV. That is right, Lane. Vermont, you actually have to be something like 20 feet off of the brother-in-law got caught for that. Ooh, yeah, it's not a good thing to to do. But Vermont, I know you have to be at least 20 feet off the edge of the pavement before you can shoot your firearm. All right, in Quebec, this might be another one for you, Jason. I know you guys are somewhat close to Quebec. It's illegal to drive with a cat on the dashboard. Thanks to a 1983 highway accident when a tabby swiped at the driver's turn signal, causing them to lose control of the steering wheel. The resulting accident caused an 8-car pileup. The cat, whose name was Coquette, survived. So, true or false? Okay, so you can't shoot from any car, that seems to be a pretty, the shooting one seems pretty normal. Okay, so we got Jason saying true, and Laney and Pete, you're both false, and you guys are correct. It is false. But again, I have heard that Quebec's got some pretty strange laws on the books, so it wouldn't surprise me if that were true as well. All right, in Switzerland, the local populace still takes the idea of Sunday as a day of rest very seriously. No mowing the lawn, no carpentry that might disrupt the peace and quiet emanating across the Alps. The prohibitions also include washing your car on Sunday. If you do wash your car, no matter what day of the week it is, you may not use a power washer. See if that's true or false. We got Laney in with a false. And we got Jason in with a false. And false. Surprisingly, that is true. You are not supposed to wash your car on a Sunday. That seems like a law that should be in California too, but they don't want you to wash your car anywhere. Now, I haven't been keeping score, guys, so I don't know whether you know who's ahead in the rankings here. This one is the last of all these. All right. In some parts of Siberia, it's illegal to drive a tractor below 20 miles per hour. I didn't know there was a lot of... What do you win? Jason, I still owe you your sticker. I haven't gotten the mail yet. I've been kind of lazy. Sorry, I will get it right out to you. You want a sticker, Lane? You know who's last. Yeah. All right. Anyways, back to the... Okay. Siberia. Illegal to drive a tractor below 20. Because most of these tractors are exposed to the elements, the law is meant to get drivers home quickly and protect them from things like catching frostbite. Well, if I lived in Siberia, I wouldn't want to be driving a tractor unless I had a cab around. But anyways, okay. True, false. All right, we got a false. And you guys are right. That is false. Because, yeah, I wouldn't want to be driving 20 miles an hour in Siberia in any, tractor that doesn't have a cab. Even then, I don't know that I'd want to because they don't really have great heaters in there. Okay. Now we are going to talk about... so every year, the Michigan State Police test all the police vehicles from different manufacturers, Fiat, Chrysler, Ford, and Chevy, or GM, to see which ones are the quote-unquote best. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Jason. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed those questions, and I appreciate you taking the time to stop into the channel. All right, so like I say, every year they do this. Cool. Like I say, I'll get that sticker out to you tomorrow. Forgot what state, but used to be a law. A woman driving had to walk 50 feet in front of the car, waving a flag. Wow. Well, there are some really odd laws on the books. I'll tell you what I'll do. Next week, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to dig up some more really oddball vehicle-related laws, and we'll do this again. All right, sound like a deal? I'm going to make a note of that so I don't forget. Car laws. All right. So this year, the fastest police interceptor on the market, according to the Michigan State Police, is the EcoBoost Police Interceptor Utility. So Ford Explorer, it is the EcoBoost, so it's the twin turbo version. Said this year the Ford bested all entries, including V8 equipped sedans, with the all-wheel drive 2020 Police Interceptor Utility, posting the fastest 0 to 60 and 100 mile per hour times and the fastest lap and average speeds. So how fast do you have to go to get by, to outrun one of these things? Of course, you can never outrun the radio. The EcoBoost Police Interceptor Utility clocked in at a top speed of 150 miles per hour, making the first time an SUV was an overall quickest and fastest police vehicle. Hybrid version of this car only gets to 137, but it's still very competitive and everywhere. Ford marketing manager for the police division, Steven Tyler, not the singer, says that America's law enforcement agencies previously had to choose between fuel efficiency. Got that covered if we're in Mexico, of course. Yeah. So, Pete, just a quick, question that if you want to post it in there. Have you taken your Camaro out to a drag strip, and what kind of times are you getting out of that? So anyways, you get good performance, safety, passenger cargo space, and everything out of the Ford Interceptor utility. And this definitely, you see those more and more, and the cars are going away, and quicker and quicker. So I think that's going to be what we'll be seeing from now on, is more of these. It'd be cool if could see something other than the Explorers, but at least we know what to look for. All right. I'm really anxious to get into the story, because everybody does stories about the C8. All right, taken to the Z 12 at 124. Not bad. I've not done the SS. That's not bad at all. I have not done that with Zelda. 93. Sweet. No, 93. That was the 4th gen Camaro. It was 92 when they stopped doing the 3rd gen. Anyways, I love the 3rd gens. I'm a big 3rd gen guy, but hey. So apparently, it's the rumors that are going around now about the mid-engine Corvette is that it's going to be called, it's not going to be a Stingray, it's going to be called Manta Ray. LT1, yeah, I had Chevy Caprice station wagon with LT1. Sure, moving a lot more weight around, but it was a lot of fun, owning that thing. Anyways, the new Corvette, they're saying that's going to be the Manta Ray, and then there's going to be 2 sub-models of the Manta Ray. There's going to be the Grand Sport and the Grand Tour. Whopping 275 horsepower. So anyway, I'm not gonna get into the Corvette, mid-engine Corvette too much, because there's just so much out there. But the other thing, the one thing that they did say in this little thing is that kind of surprised me, and I hope it is not true. Said that the Corvettes are no longer going to be Chevy per se. You will be able to buy the new mid-engine Corvette. I hope it's not 150 grand. I think that's gonna take way too many people out of the Corvette market. I can see, that as the upper ends for something that's really insane, like the ZR1s that we have now. But they're also saying that gives the Camaro room to move up in the range. But anyways, as I said, this Corvette is not going to be sold just in Chevy dealers. It will be sold across any GM dealership that has the specific techs and the I want to see if I say this again in this report. I was in a different one that I read, so unfortunately I don't have the exacts of what they said. Yeah, I've heard that too, that the 19 is the only year for the ZR1, and I think I truly hope that everybody's wrong. I think it would be a huge disservice to the sports car enthusiast to take this awesome, amazing front engine Corvette that we have right now, that you can get in so many trim levels, all sorts of price points, and then just completely do away with it and then get this You let me know where you saw those renderings of the Gen 7. I do want to see that, and we'll talk about that next week. But anyways, I if we go if they go to the mid-engine like we know they're going to, then they price it at a starting of 150. I mean, Corvette could be its own brand if they did it right. You have the mid-engine, you have the front engine. If Ferrari can do it, why not General Motors? The quality, other than the engine issues that they had early on, the quality, from what I understand of watching other people's YouTube channels of the C7 Corvette, is insane. The power you can get out of them, the styling, everything about those cars is just mind-boggling. Keep the one car going for a couple more years and invest in another front engine two-seater sports car like that. You have your mid-engine, higher price point car to satisfy the younger crowd that wants the mid-engine stuff, or has the money for the higher end stuff. I just think that's, I don't know. That's just my thought. They could be doing this a whole lot better, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a little YouTuber. Other things that are kind of notable with this, they're going to say that there's two different engines that will be available. One version is going to be Cadillac's 4.2 twin turbo V8. That would be in the Grand Tourer, and the Grand Sport would have what is called an insane sports version. Would be a 5.5 liter twin turbo V8. And from what this person is saying, it is frighteningly powerful, and apparently GM has talked with lawyers to advise them the legal perils of selling such a potent vehicle for street use. So, if you guys want to know more about this, you can either find it on MSN Autos in the news section, or motor1.com. Lines very much like, okay. Okay, I'll look it up. I'm sure that they're out there in one form or another. I don't really know what everybody going to the Camaro now. What everybody's big problem with the front end? Yeah, it's kind of ugly, but okay, great. I'd love to send it over on Instagram, and I'll definitely check it out there. Front end's kind of funky on the new Camaro, but every few years they have a miss on something, and that's all right. They've already started to redo the car to make it a little bit more palatable for everybody, but hey, just makes them more unique. All right, last little bit of fun for tonight. We're going to talk about 11 ways that you can own a V12 for less than 25 grand. And we're going to start this out by offering up the Jaguar XJ12. You can, according to this report, you can find them for well under 25 grand in really good condition. Plus you get a 4-door sedan to begin with. As I mentioned in my refresh video, I thought I think you're absolutely right, Pete. They had to do something a little bit different. Probably priming us for the more dramatic changes that they're doing for the Gen. Are we up to 7 now? Yeah, 7. Wow. Good night, Laney. Love you, and we'll talk to you over the next day or two. Next up for a V12 is the AMG Mercedes AMG S650. Those are in the upper or the mid 20s as far as price. The CL65, that's closer to the 25 limit. BMW 750i. Those are, from what I've heard from people that work on the BMW 7 Series, the engines are decent, but because they usually have way more tech than a lot of the other BMWs, they are also very, very, very expensive to fix. So be very careful of that. Something that is now eligible, going back to a previous story of cars eligible for import, and actually this says it's a few more years till this one is actually eligible, but Toyota made a V12 that they put in their Japanese only Century vehicle. Sedan, kind of funky looking, not something that I'd spend my money on. There's a lot of other JDM stuff that I would buy before that. Volkswagen Phaeton. Yep. That is exactly, true. Everyone wants the newest tech, but until it comes time to fix it, it's insane, some of the cost to fix. Yeah. Now, are you in a dealership, Pete? BMW 850 Ci. It's the same sort of deal as the other BMW. Those engines, from if I remember correctly, are basically two of their straight sixes, merged together, and because of that, they have, two ignition systems, two computers, independent shop. Okay. Yeah, so they're very, very, very expensive to fix because you've got to buy two of everything. So yeah. But they do look pretty damn good. Going back to another Jag, the XJS, the CL600. Wow. They're saying these things cost $123,000 new. But because repairs are so expensive, you can get one now in the $12,000 to $13,000 range in decent condition. But you will be worrying about those fixed costs. Another BMW, another Mercedes, and that's it for me. Thank you, everyone, for stopping in and watching this 16th episode of Car Chat with Kip. If you have any questions or comments, please hit me up. Let me know. Also, if you are enjoying what you're seeing and you're not a subscriber yet, subscribe to the channel. Bust my wallet. That is great. I've never heard of a BMW called that, so that is fantastic. I'm going to have to remember that. Thanks, Pete, for stopping in. If you guys, stop. Let me know any other questions. If you know of any odd car laws out there, throw them at me, and I'll put them into next week's episode. Have a day. Hopefully, it's a good one.